Okay, last time we looked at what combustion was, and we saw that it's a way of releasing energy from chemicals. Hey, that's a good idea. It's a great idea. But we also want to release energy from chemicals in our food, and that is a process called respiration. So how about we have a look at those two processes in combined and see if we can work out what's going on. Now, every time we respire, we are going to see that the energy we need to move, grow, develop, anything else is going to be linked to it. And we need to keep respiring to see what's going on. Alright, so what is respiration? Now, this is going to be some similarities from our last one, so let's have a think about it. Okay, respiration again is a chemical change. And that means we're going to rearrange the atoms from our reactants in our products, remember that from last time? And the energy is trapped in the bonds, in the food in this case. So food, if you like, is a fuel. So we could substitute fuel for here, for food. And we know that the number of bonds will decide how much energy is stored in there in the long run. So that tells us that bigger compounds which have got more bonds in them will have more energy than littler compounds with less number of bonds. Okay, so a good example, we take a lot of food into us in the form of glucose, and we're going to use glucose because that is the equation we're going to ask you to remember when it comes time for any test in the process in our biological energy section. Alright, so we learned in our last one that what we need to actually have the reaction happen, or the chemical change occurring, is called reactants, or inputs if you like, and I'll put those both in there. And what we make is the products or outputs. And it says here that food, when we use it with oxygen, they are both inputs or reactants. Carbon dioxide and water vapour, hold on, saw those before our last lesson. Maybe this is why this lesson is about comparing respiration and combustion. Alright, so let's look at what goes on. Now, the word equation, we're going to require you, this is one of our learning objectives in the biological energy. So we can see that glucose plus oxygen makes carbon dioxide and water. Water vapour. Remember, it's not liquid water in this case, it's water vapour. Alright, now if we go to the symbols, and we call this a symbolic equation, glucose is made of 6 carbon atoms, 12 hydrogen atoms, and 6 oxygen atoms arranged in a particular way. Now there are several different ways we can arrange it, but I'm not worried about that at this stage. We're just going to say we've got this many. Now it needs, every glucose needs 6 lots of oxygen. O2, remember, is oxygen, please don't forget that. And then we make 6 lots of carbon dioxide and 6 lots of water vapour. Excuse me. Now, the whole thing is with this is the balancing. Remember the whole idea of the number of atoms here, the number of carbon atoms here, and the number of carbon atoms here are the same. Number of hydrogen atoms here, number of hydrogen atoms here are the same. Number of oxygen and the number of oxygens are the same. And it turns out they are. And that is our symbolic equation. Now, both of these, that equation and that equation, are learning objectives for biological energy. So let's add another equation to it, because the whole idea of this show was to have a look at combustion and compare it with respiration. So if we then have these two word equations close to each other, we can see what's going on. Alright, word equation, we've got glucose, oxygen, carbon dioxide, water vapour. For combustion, fuel, oxygen, carbon dioxide, water vapour. Right, I don't know about you, but I'm starting to see there are some similarities here. And they are quite easy for us to see. But let's just confirm by looking at a symbolic equation. I'm going to use the same one about burning some propane. And as we can see from here, we've got C3H8, one propane, 5 oxygens, 3 carbon dioxides and 4 waters. So I don't know about you, but I'm starting to see some similarities. But the major difference, there is no fire inside of us, right? So there's no fire to cause these two things to come together. Here, there is a spark or fire to cause them to come together. So that would be the difference between these two. But as we can see, there's a lot of similarities. So how about we look at these in terms of a table? Alright, so let's summarise and let's fix this up. And I think I'll use a different colour for this one, maybe red I think. Alright, so combustion breaks apart large chemical into smaller chemicals. Yes, I can put a big tick there. That's correct. Alright, it releases the chemical energy that's stored in the bonds. Yes, when I'm burning a piece of timber or burning a piece of wood on a flame, I get extra energy out, I get heat and light out. So yep, sure does that too. It requires oxygen. Yes, without oxygen there's no flame, there's no combustion. Right, 3 ticks in a row, that's good. And our products are carbon dioxide and water. Yep, and I'll put a proviso in here because in the last video I talked about if there was enough oxygen, and that would be complete combustion, or if there wasn't enough oxygen, which was incomplete. So I've said if there's oxygen, enough oxygen there, we get carbon dioxide and water. We sure do. Now, if we then look at and do the same thing for respiration. Right, does respiration break a large chemical like glucose into smaller chemicals like carbon dioxide and water? Sure does. Glucose has got 6 plus 12 plus 6, which is 24 atoms for every glucose. Carbon dioxide has got 1 carbon, 2 oxygen, that's 3. That's okay, that's small. That's smaller than glucose. Alright, how about water? Well, that's H2O. That's 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen. That's another 3. So we're taking something that's got 24 atoms into something that's got 3s. Okay, yeah, I think that's fair. Alright, we're releasing the chemical energy. Sure are. And we're releasing the stored energy that comes out. And we use that for the maintenance of our body and to make us move. Requires oxygen. What happens if we don't have enough oxygen? Well, respiration doesn't occur. What happens if we don't have enough? Now that's an interesting case too. Well, it's like burning. If we don't have enough fire, if we don't have enough oxygen when we're burning something with combustion, then we don't get the required energy. All of the energy doesn't come out. The same thing happens in respiration. If we don't have enough oxygen, then respiration occurs and we don't get all of the energy from the sugar. So it doesn't come out totally. Alright, now how about respiration? Are the products carbon dioxide and water vapour if I've got enough oxygen? They sure are. So we can see now that they are similar. The only difference, and I'm going to put it in here, I'm going to say needs a flame. And we know that for combustion, sure does. For respiration, no. So you can see that they are similar processes, and that's why we can compare them. Of course, they do similar jobs, they just have a slight variation in the way they do it. I hope that makes some sense.